Democratic Congressman Andrea Carson serves on the House Intelligence Committee and is a Muslim American and joins me now. Congressman, thank you very much. Your reaction, well, thank you for being with us. I don't even know where to start, but your reaction to Donald Trump.
Well, I think that, look, Mr. Trump is a smart man. I've met Mr. Trump before. I can tell you this: he's a ringmaster of sorts, and he knows what kinds of things to say that will hit the right buttons with his constituency. And I think we're living in a time, quite frankly, where politicians or those seeking office are rewarded for making provocative statements. He is up in the polls, and the more provocative he becomes, the more of a gadfly he appears to be, the more reinforcement he gets from his focus group numbers, his poll numbers, and the crosstabs. But next year, I think you'll see his popularity wane because the American people are looking for something more. It is true that Mr. Trump presents himself to be a bold and very decisive leader. He doesn't deal with the ambiguity or the nuances to your earlier point, but the facts are clear. People are anxious. There's a great deal of disillusionment and anxiety as it relates to the global terror threat. So to have someone who speaks boldly, though erroneously, but speaks boldly, is quite attractive to many voters.
How are people whom you know in your community at home, how are they reacting to this, to being painted with this, terror brush and being demonized this way? And what is the effect on children?
I just had a meeting with some folks on Saturday. They were of Pakistani descent, Syrian descent, Americans, white, black, who happen to be Muslim. And, they're deeply concerned. These folks were engineers, physicians, lawyers, and police officers, just wanting to make positive contributions to the society as they've done for decades, as their families have done for decades. So naturally, there's a deep sense of despair because they, too, are concerned about the global terror threat are facing, and they were asking a pertinent question: what can we do to help? What can we do to help? And so I, along with Congressman Keith Ellison, we've been calling on some of our congressional colleagues to reach out to local mosques. And I had a meeting recently with the FBI, and we talked about ways in which the CVE strategy, the countering violent extremism strategy, could be improved and tweaked, and making sure that the relationship with the Muslim community isn't transactional, that it's ongoing, that it's honest and upfront.
What do you say to your own governor, Mike Pence, on the subject of Syrian refugees?
Well, Mike Pence and I served in Congress. He and I used to go to lunch together. I think that Governor Pence, while he is the chief executive of the state of Indiana, he has a duty to protect Hoosiers. However, Governor Pence must understand, because he is a descendant of immigrants, that our nation is built on the backs of immigrants. And the very fact that our previous governor, Governor Mitch Daniels, is of Syrian descent. And so when you think about that, Governor Pence has to know that there are scores of Muslims who are in our intelligence services, even our law enforcement communities, who are helping to keep our country safe. I come from Indiana's Department of Homeland Security Intelligence Fusion Center. I think I'm the only member of Congress who has worked in a fusion center. As a Muslim, I can tell you that Muslims are on the front line in helping to push back a threat that they too see as detrimental to our society.
Congressman Andrea Carson, thank you very much for joining us from Indiana.